What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, back to bring you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and American Contractor, and Atlas. Go ahead and check them out in the description to this video. They do good work. They make these videos possible, so go ahead and check out their pages. So we do have some cold front action sweeping through. We've got Midwest storms starting up tonight, and then tomorrow it's going to be the Ohio Valley and the eastern U.S., and we could get some hail and some wind out of that, as well as potential tornado risk. Going into all of that for you guys into today and tomorrow. And then, as usual, checking out the Gulf and seeing what's happening there. We got our disturbance that's crossed the Yucatan now. It's in the Gulf of Mexico, and so we're going to see what it can do over the next couple of days. But before we get into our weather, just want to remind you guys that we've got our OU versus Kansas tailgate coming up. This one's on October 15th, and we're going to be next to the southeast entrance. It's just south of Heisman Park. You'll see all the tailgate booths, and then just look for the one that says Hail Trace and Beacon, and you'll see all of us out there. We got food, we got beer, we got the game on, got some cornholes, so come out and see us for the OU versus Kansas tailgate. It should be a good game. And then before we get into our current conditions, we're also doing our costume contest that's coming up at the end of the month. So go ahead and jump onto our Facebook or Instagram stories if you guys want to cast your vote or give us some ideas for what Derek should be at the end of that week. Should be fun. So now getting into our current conditions, we've got pretty much clear conditions across most of the east, a lot of the central U.S., and then that cold front that's getting ready to push through the Midwest into tonight. It is going to be a late storm risk, but out ahead of that front, it's clear, it's sunny, got some time for some instability to build up behind this first system that's going to move out of the way. So right now it's feeling like fall once again, mid-70s for most of the country, a touch warmer down in South Texas and along the Gulf here, 80s in Florida for you guys, but really nice conditions across the majority of the U.S., and we're going to see those temperatures drop down a little bit more over the coming hours as this cold front sweeps through. Here's what the future temperatures are going to look like with that. All right, here's that cold front right now, still in the central plains and not a whole lot out ahead of it right now for storms. But tonight, once it moves into the zone of instability by around 9-10 p.m., that's when we're going to start to see storm initiation through Minnesota, tracking all the way along that front as it pushes off to the east. All right, so there we are by Wednesday afternoon. Storms are going to be full swing by then, pushing through the Ohio Valley as well as the southern Mississippi Valley, bringing another hail and wind chance as well as some potential tornadoes for you guys then as that continues its eastward trek by Thursday morning. So we're going to be watching this over the next few days. We do actually have a system to talk about. It's been scattered storms for the past few weeks, but this could bring us some organized storms over the next couple of days here. So here's what our significant hail model is showing in terms of, how cold is the upper atmosphere? How much lift do we have to form hail? Those factors tie together, and we got those yellows and then eventually those reds and purples that we usually see in the springtime. But right now we're seeing some yellows, could be some quarters to $half along that front, again by around the time of storm initiation, 9-10 p.m. Then as it continues to push off to the east, there we are by 12:30 in the morning. Still got a chance for hail, but then things are going to taper off into the overnight hours and will shift towards wind. So right now, you're going to see just a lot of nothing until later tonight on our future radar. Here we go by 9:30, storm initiation just to the west of Minneapolis. We could get a couple hailers out of that, but it's going to band up pretty quickly. 11 p.m. Now Minneapolis, you're kind of in that transition zone where we could get a couple of severe hailstones. Could also start to see a couple of severe wind gusts going here and there as this starts to band up. Then once it continues to move off to the east, we're going to see the cold front continue to spread storms down to the south and the west. Omaha could get a couple gusts out of this line by around 2 a.m. Doesn't look too mean on radar, but we'll see what it can throw at us by the early morning hours into tomorrow. And as it continues out towards the east, now Chicago could be getting a couple storms way out ahead of it, and then seeing another round once the front moves through by around 7. So probably waking up to some loud storms if you guys are in the Chicago, Milwaukee area, all the way down into central Missouri with that front. So for hail, gonna keep it, again, still pretty narrow for our swath here because it's gonna transition into wind as the night moves forward. But we got a chance of quarters to $half anywhere from Wisconsin down into Kansas and Missouri. We have pushed the southern end of that swath up a little further north. It looks like that cap is probably gonna hold in Oklahoma in terms of, severe weather. but still get that cold front sweeping through, so that's at least nice. But if you guys are in Madison, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Des Moines, all the way down into Wichita, Topeka area, could see a quarter or $0.50 here and there, and it's going to stay pretty scattered. It's going to be a very quick turnaround towards wind. For wind, we've scooched it out a little bit to the east for our swath here, so now including Chicago and Milwaukee in that. And then, still continuing it all the way down into Kansas and into Missouri. So if you guys are in Green Bay, Minneapolis, Chicago, Kansas City, any of the cities in between, you could see some gusts tracking through late tonight into the early morning hours of tomorrow as that cold front pushes through. Now into tomorrow, we've got a little bit more of a rotation possible on these storms, all right? We're already going to be seeing storms in the morning, and then starting to band up once again by around 12 p.m., anywhere from Indianapolis down into almost Little Rock, Arkansas. And then got some more storms going down in the south, doing kind of their own thing, but we could get some hail out of any of those. Now, as this first system with the cold front tracks off to the east, we're going to see more isolated storms forming out to the south and west, so could get some hail out of that. And now down south here is where we really got that high humidity, some good lift, cooler upper atmosphere temperatures, so we got a better chance for hail down in the southern part of our risk area. Up north is mostly staying focused on wind, where we've got those linear storms, okay? So around 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, that's when we start to see Louisville getting impacted by some storms, and then that second cold front tracking through the Louisville-Cincinnati area with, again, some gusty winds, and then down towards Memphis is where we start to see some hail chances tracking through. That's going to continue as a pretty nasty line moving through Tupelo by around 11:30 p.m. all the way up into West Virginia. We could be seeing some gusty winds, and then we'll see things kind of start to taper off into the early morning hours of Thursday. But it's going to be a long day for the east and the southeast as we see a potential for hail, wind, and tornadoes, so all risks possible for you guys into tomorrow. So for hail, anywhere through pretty much the southern end of that band is kind of what we talked about for quarters to $0.50. Again, going to be pretty scattered. It is the fall, but we'll see what it can produce. So anywhere from St. Louis all the way down into Jackson, Mississippi, you got a low-end chance of seeing a quarter to $0.50 here or there. Now for wind, it's going to be a little bit more interesting. We've got the whole, hail swath as well as parts of the north included in our risk area here, as well as a potential for tornadoes if you're kind of in the center of that swath here, pretty much from the corridor of, Indianapolis to Louisville down into, a little part of Louisiana and Arkansas could see a potential for some rotation on those storms. Still a low-end chance for you guys, probably looking scattered right now, but up towards the north where we're seeing more bands track through, could see an upgrade in, our chances for tomorrow. Could see those tick up a little bit through the Ohio Valley for winds into tomorrow. But regardless, it's going to be a long day in terms of lots of storm coverage passing through the area into Wednesday. Then for Thursday, so we're looking at the system now. Here it is, kind of just starting to dip down, and with that we'll see some storms developing later tonight. There it is by, early into Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon, that trough really starts to sink down to the south, cold front out ahead of it, going to produce us some storms on Wednesday. Then as it continues to track eastward, now we're seeing a negative tilt, which is basically when it just tilts from the southeast to the northwest. That tends to be when you get some more active storms, but now it's starting to make its push off the coast by Thursday afternoon and then out of New England area by the end of the week. So keeping our eye on that as it continues to track through, organized systems. So we're kind of keeping our eye on it, and that's quite the trough. Once you get into the purples there, you got quite that color gradient, which just means, instability. So we're keeping an eye on it for you guys. Then last but not least, into the tropics. So we've had Julia kind of continuing to move off into the Pacific, and this second storm is starting to gain some speed a little bit, or ramp up a little bit, as it tracks into the Gulf of Mexico. It's moved off the land. Now it has that water that it's able to kind of build intensity off of, but as it continues to move up to the north and west, it's moving into wind shear, and tropical systems do not like wind shear. It's just when the upper levels of the wind are way faster than the lower levels, and that just tears the storm apart. So that's good news for you guys in Mexico and Texas. Not expecting this to really intensify as it moves up all the way through the northward part of the Gulf, but over the next 2 to 5 days, we could see it trying to intensify as it tracks up that way. So expect a lot of rain if you're in the path right now, maybe some gusty winds here and there, and we're going to see what this little guy can do as it continues to track through the Gulf. And that's all we got for you guys today. So if you guys want to follow us, you can get us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. And then if you want to get in contact with us, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can also email us if you'd rather at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And we'll let you know what's going on with all your severe weather risks. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.